Remember that time where I showed you how to make The Witcher 3 run by going so low it looked like a PlayStation 2 game and everyone loved it? Well, time to go back to the franchise and turn back the clock, because it's time to try it out on The Witcher 2. This game may have lower system requirements, but don't let it fool you, even the lowest preset can make our low-end system struggle. That is, until we get our hands on it. This is the LowSpecGamer, where making modern games look old makes us happy, and where we like to play game series backwards for some reason. So forget about grass, high texture sizes and high definition, because we are going to make this game run.
I want a rematch.
The Witcher 2 has a pretty neat auto-set system that puts the game into a preset depending on your computer. As you can see from my options, I have been set into the low-spec preset. Would you look at that? Well, ironically, the low-spec preset is going to be too much for this computer. As you can see, we're struggling to maintain over 15 frames per second, and it's only going to get worse when we go into any fight. Well, time to make it better. The Witcher 2 does not have nearly as many configuration files and options as The Witcher 3, but there's still many hidden variables and it is very easy to miss something. To make it all easier, we're going to download the Witcher 2 Tweaker, a tool made for easy modification and backup of configuration files. The link is in the description. To install this tool, all you need to do is copy the executable inside the download and paste it into the Witcher 2 folder located at Documents, Witcher 2 Config. Ready. Here is the interface of the tool where we can tweak all the game parameters creatively. First, make sure texture downscale is set to 2, and the same for Atlas texture downscale. Detail texture downscale is going to be set to 1. As a rule, downscaling textures and details is good for our performance, so we want it to be on maximum. Then we have texture sizes and texture memory budget. These guys are the most important parameters to control texture and graphical quality. The lowest texture sizes go under normal circumstances is 1024, but we're going to force it lower to 400, and we're going to leave the memory budget in 100. You will see how this looks in a second. As for all the shadows variables, we're going to put it to 0. It will not disable the shadows, but we want them as low as they can go. Make sure foliage distance scale is set to 0, and mesh distance scale is going to be reduced to 0.3. These variables control at what distance grass disappears and things looks detailed, so we want it to happen as close from us as possible. Then make sure this gameplay downscale is set to 1. Now, all these effects, bloom, shafts, depth of field, vignette, even rain, make sure they're all set to 0 so none of them are ever used. Even the depth of field during cutscenes, disable it. Now, dangles limiter. This variable controls dangling elements and characters, and I mean these things. If we set it to 2, we can disable them altogether. It's a small thing, but we're trying to go as low as possible. Finally, make sure shadow quality is on 0, its lowest, with shadow lights and oversampling disabled. Accept the changes to save all this into the file. But before we go into the game, there is one small thing you need to do for all of this to work. Manually open the user.ini file on this folder. This is the file where all our changes were saved, but up here at the start of the file there's this line, custom rendering settings. Make sure to set it to 1. I lost hours trying different configurations and wondering why nothing worked, until I discovered that all our changes will not be loaded unless this is set to 1. And now you don't have to make the same mistake. You can immediately notice that the textures on the floor look way worse, even if Geralt doesn't look that bad. Also, there is no grass. As a result, the performance is more or less around 20, which is almost there.
Why 2 swords?
This boss battle is a better example of the lower texture quality and lack of grass compared to how this battle normally looks. And as you can notice, the performance drops back to around 15 and makes it very hard to actually do anything, so we need to take even more extreme measures. So, back in our tweaker, first thing we're going to do is reduce the resolution to 800 by 600. Goodbye HD. Now, we need to reduce the texture size even further. We're going to cut them to half, 200. Now, before we go, we need to manually open the ini file once again to fix the aspect ratio for this resolution. This is done by adding a line here on rendering called aspect ratio and setting it to 1. Apart from the change in resolution, you can notice how the stones and trees look progressively worse. Great! Performance is now around 30 while working around, very good. Jump into the boss battle and it keeps over 20. As far as I've been able to tell, this game is very much playable as long as you keep over 20 for combat, so this is very good. If you're not satisfied, you can keep tweaking the texture sizes and texture budget and make them lower and lower, like in this example, where you can finally see an important difference in quality of Geralt and the other NPCs. I must say, I kinda like how the game looks now, reminds me of classic RuneScape, good memories. That is all for this episode. I had a lot of fun returning to a Witcher game and seeing how much can it be tweaked, and hopefully you enjoyed this ride and possibly found the video useful. Thanks for watching, see you on the next video.